Alright, we're back over here with Uncle Ray. Brad's up there getting welding stuff together. We're gonna work on the oil lines today, guys. The feed lines, the drain lines. The feed lines are gonna be pretty simple. The drain lines are probably gonna be a pain in the ass. So I'm gonna go ahead and start with the feed lines, and I screwed up. So I got in a hurry to go ahead and order the parts so they'd be here by this weekend, and instead of ordering 2 45s, 2 90s, and 2 straights, I ordered 4 45s and 2 90s. I didn't order any straights, but I think we can kind of work with what I got, because what I did do, I've got a bunch of lines laying around from nitrous kits and stuff, and I found a line that's got straights on both ends that I am hoping, I don't know, it's not going to be perfect, but it might be okay for mock-up until I can order a couple straights to make a custom line. So we're going to use this line to run from the sending unit location down by the oil pan up to a Y that we're going to use, if that makes sense. Starting up here at the top, my original plan was to use these banjo fittings, which it would have worked fine on this side, but over here on this side, the way we've got the turbo clocked, it's going to run run the line right into here. So I'm going to experiment. I did buy these straight fittings. These are 4 AN to 7/16 by 24 fittings here. So I'm gonna mess around here with some different fittings, see if I can still use these banjos. If not, we'll use these straight fittings coming out up off the turbos here. So give me a second, experiment a little bit. Well, it looks like I bought these for no reason whatsoever, because our banjos are gonna work great. So these are the banjos from the original video I did showing you guys all the parts we bought for this. So this one's gonna come straight back, angle back just like so, just like it's supposed to. And then over here on this side, this is the side I was worried about, but it looks like with a 45 it's going to work perfect with our banjo fitting here. So I'm going to go ahead, tighten these banjos down since we know they're going to work now, and we'll start making up our PTFE lines. I got to go from here to the middle of the intake, both sides. Then when we get to the middle of the intake, we're going to not put a 90 at the end of both lines to go into this guy. So he'll be right here under the intake manifold. All right, making up our PTFE lines here. So just sliding the collar on, take our ferrule, shove it down on here. Once you get your ferrule stuck on there, just take our fitting, pop it in there. Slides in just like that, and we just run our collar up, screw it together, and there we go. We got our first fitting on. I made sure I did not properly align it, because I know how much you guys love it when I don't put that extra little bit of turn on it and align it. Could have, don't want to. Tell me why I should have, and why this is going to leak in the comments. Alright, so looking under the front of the intake, we got our temporary oil line running up under the middle of the intake, and this is where I want my Y to sit, right here. So I've got a 90 screwed to it right there. So we're building our line to go from here to there. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take the line we just made, I'm going to screw it in here, we're going to hold it up here, figure out where to cut it. Need to cut the line right about here. We're going to take our cable cutters, that easy. So there's our first feed hose. We're going to screw it on here and then make our other one for the other side. So we got our lines on. See, it runs over here to our T or Y, whatever you want to call it. I made this one a little long so it could arch up, so I can make sure it wouldn't get into this adjustable pulley here, belt tensioner. You can see it goes off here, goes in, and we're right in the center here. And then we've got our line running underneath the middle of our intake, coming out down there and going down to the side. Now here's the thing, guys. I think I said it earlier, but I did not order straights, so we do have plenty of line to make a custom line to go where it needs to go. Unfortunately, I do not have straight fittings. I got 2 extra 45s instead, so this line is just for mock-up. But with that being said, if it ends up reaching where we need it to go, which it's either going to be like an inch short, or it's going to be perfect. If it reaches, we'll just leave this old nitrous line on. But we're going to crawl under there now, show you where we're tapping into for that. You can see our block off. Now I have already tapped this because when we were originally going to use the factory gauges in this car, I had the factory oil pressure sending unit screwed in it. Right now it's got an Allen plug, a 1/8 Allen plug screwed in it. So basically all I got to do is take the little Allen plug out and screw this guy in. This is a 1/8 NPT to -4 fitting. So once this is screwed in, if our line reaches, we'll just screw it into here and our oil feeds to our turbo. All that's done. Hey guys, tried to do this the easy way. So here's the deal with these Holley, with the Holley 302-3 pans and these TSP pans, which is, you know, kind of the same thing. It's really a dumb design. They put the bungs for the oil drains right under where the freaking motor mounts are, and we've pulled a bunch of different fittings and stuff, and no matter what we do, I don't think there's any way we're going to be able to use those. So what we've decided to do is I've actually got some weld-on -10 bungs, and there is a flat spot up here in the front of the oil pan on both sides, which I feel like whoever designed these oil pans was a freaking idiot and should have put the oil drains up here toward the front anyway. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to take our weld-in bungs. I've actually got it stuck in a 45-degree fitting right now. We're going to take our weld-in bungs, and right up here at the front of the pan, we're going to weld one here and in the same spot on the passenger side, and then that's going to allow us to come up with these 45-degree fittings right like that, and it's going to clear everything nice and dandy. But what sucks about that is that means we've got to pull the oil pan off. Here, I'll put this up here for visual reference for you. Yeah. Just like that. Yeah. I think it's going to be perfect, ain't it? It's going to be great. Yeah, it's just not going to be great pulling this pan. All right, so we jerked the pan off here. I just jerked it off. So we got the pan off of here. What we end up having to do is just jack up the engine, take the motor mount bolts out, and jack up the engine from the crank pulley there. It's tight, but we got it out, and the plan is these guys here, these pans come with, you know, they're already tapped for 1/2 inch NPT way back here. Problem is, like I said earlier, the motor mount's right there and the K-member's right under it. There is no way for us to use that. So the new plan is we're going to drill and tap it up here at the front of the pan, right in this area, and instead of welding it, we're just going to screw the fittings in that we were going to use back here. The problem is I don't have a 1/2 inch tap over here. I got one at the house, 1/2 inch NPT tap, but even if I did, I don't have the drill bit big enough to use it. So I'm going to run to the store real quick, and hopefully we can find a kit that's got the tap and the drill bit we need, and get this done, get the pan back on, and make our drain lines. We drove to Ace Hardware, we drove to Lowe's, we drove to Home Depot. Nobody had a 1/2 inch NPT tap, or you're supposed to use a 23/32 drill bit. All right. So we ended up going all the way back to my house because I already knew, you know, I had a 1/2 inch MPT tap. We look in my toolbox and we found an 11/16 drill bit. So if you work that out, that's 22 30-seconds, which is 1/32 of an inch too small. So we're going to try to use this. We're going to drill our holes in the side of the pan here, and you know, it's aluminum, so I'm hoping just a 1/32 of an inch difference. I'm hoping I can go ahead and force the tap in there and get this shit done. Am I straight?
Your wife says you. Yeah.
So we got our holes tapped on both sides. We had one little issue though. I ran the tap in too deep. I forget what side it was, but one of these, the tap's too deep. We're gonna just throw a bunch of damn thread sealant or thread tape on there and hope like hell it don't leak. If it does, we may end up having to pull it out and weld it at some point. But anyway, they're tapped, so we're gonna get our fittings in here and throw the pan back on, and then we can run our drain lines from the turbos. All right, we can see under here where we drilled and tapped. We got all kinds of room around the fittings now on both sides. That one's over there. And we got the pan back on, and I would just like to say Ray did absolutely nothing. I had to do all this shit by myself.
You just now crawled under the car.
Oh hell. So we got the pan back on. We just got to set the engine back on the mounts, shove the motor mount bolts back through it, and then we can go back to making
What's this wee shit?
drain lines. You heard me. We are we in France, motherfucker? All right, so we literally spent half the day pulling the oil pan, tapping it, putting it back in. We had to take the intake loose and slide it forward so we could jack the engine up far enough to pull the oil pan. So oil pan's back on like I just showed you. Intake manifolds bolted back down. Brad's been up there finish welding a bunch of stuff. You can see all on the floor here, all this has been finish welded, all that for the other side. So he's up there welding on the intercooler right now and the charge pipe, and we're gonna go ahead and make our drain lines. So I'm just gonna explain to you guys what we're doing here. No biggie. Basically, we're gonna come off the bottom with a 45, this guy right here, and then as you saw, we've got 45s at the front of the oil pan down there on both sides. They're gonna get straight. Gonna cut some -10 hose to go between them, and that's pretty much it, guys. Not a lot to show on camera. You guys have seen me put together AN fittings at least 50,000 dozen times, so I'm gonna get this done. So we got the line made up for the passenger side. We just got to go ahead and make up the line for the driver's side.
Like a Three Stooges. Like a freaking Three Stooges. You son of a bitch. Oh god.
Lower. Lower.
You almost got it off. Keep jerking. Keep jerking. Just got to go. Oh, much better. Okay. Okay, so we got our feed lines done. You can see them there.
Got that around there good too.
Drain lines are done. Right now, we're just taking the turbos off. Brad got the intercooler all welded up. He got the charge pipe welded up. I showed you guys earlier. He got the dump pipes for the turbos and the dump pipes for the wastegates. He got all that welded up. So all he's got left to weld is the manifolds themselves here. So what we're doing right now, we're going ahead and disassembling. Yep. There's the charge pipe. We put the air temp sensor underneath here on the bottom side. So yeah, we're basically, he's hooking everything back up that he's got welded up, and we're taking the turbos off so that so he can finish welding the manifolds and stuff. With everything out of the way, I just wanted to show you guys one last time kind of how everything is routed. So turn my light on here. So if you look right here, there's our oil lines, our feed lines. They come up there, go to each turbo, and the drain lines. This is just in case some of y'all might want to do the same thing. So if you look down there, I think you can see the bung on camera right there. It's a 45 coming out of the pan. So that lets my oil line come right up through here and into the bottom of the turbo. I mean, it fits just perfect. You can see back there the factory hole in the pan, and no matter what fitting we tried to use, it was going to be hitting here, hitting there, and it was going to make it almost impossible to screw our dash 10 fittings onto it, especially over on the other side. So basically all we did is we moved the drain fittings up about 5 inches to the front of the pan, and that gives just enough clearance on this side to come around the alternator. And then you can see it down there on this side where my finger's pointing at right there. We bring it up and it comes up, and right between the drain ended up landing on the turbo, right between our charge pipe and our radiator hose. So it snakes down perfect, downward angle the whole way, and should drain back good. Well, I just wanted to throw this in at the end. I am really happy with the progress we made. I would have liked to have seen us gotten a little bit further with the car this weekend. Actually, I screwed this up. I want to make that clear. The only reason this car is not running right now in this video is because of several things I did wrong. The first thing is, some of you know, with my job, I have a weekend duty, and I got my weekends mixed up. So last weekend when we did the hot side and the cold side, I told Brad I had to work this weekend, and that wasn't true. I thought I did, but I got my weekends mixed up, and it's actually this coming weekend that I have to work. But because I told him that, he made other plans. So what happened was, Saturday, we weren't able to work on the car at all. He actually had to go out of town, him and my Uncle Mike, his dad. And yes, for you guys that are going to ask, Brad and I are related. I know a lot of you guys keep asking if me and Ray, if he's really my Uncle Ray. Yes, he's really my uncle. Brad is my cousin. And anyway, Brad and his dad, my other uncle, they went to look at some El Caminos in Georgia Saturday, so which would be yesterday. So we didn't get to work on the car yesterday, and then he and his wife had planned to go to the flea market this morning. So what happened was, I ended up not being able to get over there to work on the car because I told him that, and he made other plans. So I didn't get over there till about noon today to work on the car. The other mess up that I had was not having all the right parts, which of course, I talked about that in the last video. I had to order a bunch of stuff last minute, and that was for the turbo feed lines. Now, we could have still made a lot more progress today, but the drain situation with the pan, I want to talk about that a little bit. So anyway, guys, the Holly pans, the TSP pans, there's several companies now that are making knockoffs of these oil pans that have the bungs in the side of them. Guys, I don't know. I've used those pans on 3 different builds now, and I cannot think of a single damn application where those drain bungs are in a good spot, because they put them right under the motor mounts. Now, if you had some kind of weird motor mount and you were using a dang tubular K-member, you might be able to use them. But I know not on the Nova, not on the Camaro, not on anything I've ever put that pan on, do I think those turbo drains are in a good spot. Where you saw me move them to, where we retapped the holes, in my opinion, that's where Holly should have, and I put this all on Holly because honestly the other pans are just knockoffs of the Holly 302-3 pan. So if Holly would have done a little better job, I should say, on designing those pans, then all these, you know, these other pans would have put them in the same spot as well. But I feel like up there toward the front of the pan where I drilled and tapped today, I think that is definitely a better spot. And it's going to work great for us. And honestly, 90% of the applications, the spot I drilled and tapped today would probably work better on. But the thing that really held us up today is Ray and I spent hours driving around town trying to find a drill bit, you know, and a 1/2-inch tap. Well, I already had the 1/2-inch tap. I did not realize I had that drill bit. So I lucked out on that, and I just happened to have that drill bit in my toolbox, and it just happened to work. So that was actually 2 times I got lucky today, guys. We got lucky that the nitrous line that I was just going to use as a temporary line, I don't think I said it in the video earlier, but it ended up being the exact right length. So I'm not even going to have to make up another line. That nitrous line, I mean, it fits perfect. So the bad luck seemed to have went away there, but we ate up so much time today pulling the oil pan and drilling it and tapping it and running around town looking for parts that I wasn't really able to get everything done that I was hoping to get done. But anyway, guys, we are real close now. The car's real close. Brad's probably going to have all that stuff finished welded before I get back over there. So pretty much it's just on me now. I'm trying to think what I need to do. I guess I just need to build a boost tune, because currently, you know, the car's still got the nitrous tune up in it and NA tune up in it. So I just need to put together a tune in the Holly for the boost setup, and hopefully the next time we get over there to work on the car, we can get everything thrown together and start the car for the first time. Now, I'm not sure exactly when that's going to be, because like I just said, this coming weekend I do have to work, but I am going to see what you know, what I can work out, guys. I mean, maybe I can get over there after work one night or something like that. But for now, I just want to say again, I'm really happy with the progress we've made on the car. The twin turbo kit is actually going together way faster than I thought it would, and I'm looking forward to actually having it running and getting out here and playing with it and trying to get it dialed in. So thanks once again for watching. I hope you guys are enjoying this build as much as I am. Please make sure you hit that notification bell if you haven't already, so you don't miss any videos. Then get off YouTube, get out in the garage, get something done, and I'll see you next time here on Bad Luck Garage.